TVC presents
Thailand vs Challenger Series 1, the opening fights from Paragon, was a perfect showcase for what Thailand vs Challenger is all about. The cream of the crop of Thailand's fighters up against some of the world's best. The opening fight, Matsu from Koh Samui versus Robbie Filipino from Australia. This was a chance for the fighters to perform in front of a real different crowd as well. I mean, for me, it was a first in maybe 19 years in seeing fights in Thailand, to see like pop stars, celebrities sat ringside, and you could see the fighters were enjoying it as well, performing to this crowd. But for Robbie, it was a very tough fight against a very experienced Thai opponent. It just showed what the rest of the challenge were in for against, you know, the strong Thai opposition. And Robbie, unfortunately for him, lost on points, but he put on a brave show. Next up, the great Khalklai Kanarasinghe, one of the most famous Thai fighters to ever to grace the ring, known for his performances against far bigger opponents, and again he had a very difficult task against a very tall Slovakian fighter. But Khalklai just made it look easy. Great technique, defensive technique in the second round, catching him with a beautifully timed punch to drop him for an 8 count, and after that it was just all Khalklai, just giving the crowd an exhibition basically in Muay Thai fighting. Next up you have Nonsai versus Zaba. I mean, this is a total contrast to the last fight. Two real raw, aggressive, hard punching warriors. Zaba, what you see is what you get with him. If he gets a chance, he's just going to try and knock your head clean off his shoulders. But Nonsai just that much more experience, and just give him a little bit of a lesson in Muay Thai, all-round technique, and took the fight on points. Great battle, that one. Finally, the highlight of the show, you had the French challenger Antoine Pinto, Antoine Sitting Boxing as he's known. Born in France but raised for a lot of his life in Thailand, and he fights like a Thai fighter. He knows the game inside out. But what a test for him. Noparat Gamton, multiple Lumpini champion, contender for Fighter of the Year. And if you'd have said 2 years ago that they were going to meet in the ring, probably people would have laughed. But Antoine went the distance and he pushed the great clinch fighter Noparat all the way in a clinch, just losing out on a close points decision. So finally we have on this first show a chance for the Thai crowd to see something a little bit different, with some real big guys in action, the heavyweights. Ramazan Ramazov, based in Thailand for a long time, almost a token Thai, against the Brazilian Eduardo. The fight was short and sweet though, with Ramazan finishing it early on with a huge high kick that just Eduardo could do nothing about. Beautiful high kick there. The left hook and then straight over the top. Looked like Eduardo's going to be able to beat the count there. Beautiful shot. Yeah, look all over in the opening round there. As I said, you have to watch out for these heavyweights. They really hit hard. So what more can you say about the opening show? Perfect showcase, something for everyone, every different style of fighter under the sun, and some great action, and just left everybody wanting to see more on the next show. So traditionally the Queen's birthday events, massive shows, but they're normally showcasing the female Muay Thai talent from around the world. This is where Thailand vs Challenger have just started to break new grounds by bringing in some of the top male talent as well. So the first fight, Thailand versus Sweden, with Ole Lek from Thailand versus Tobias Alexandersson from Sweden. The fight just showcased how you just need to be concentrating every second of the fight. Round 2, Ole Lek firing a thunderous high kick, and it just took Tobias straight out of the fight. Put on a brave performance, got up, tried to go on, but it was just too much punishment, and the ref stopped the fight. Second fight, you had Thailand versus Germany. Petsungon Sitniwat versus Valdit Gashi from Germany. What a performance from Petsungon. I mean, he's a very high class, high pedigree fighter, fighting main event on Sukwan Songchai shows, and for Valdit it was just maybe a little step up in class too quick, because he just, the taller Thai opponent, landed throughout hard knees, hard elbows. Some of the elbows, you know, they would have knocked many lesser fighters out. Just a testament to the courage from Valdit that he actually managed to stay there. For Valdit Gashi, I mean, he just showed the crowd what a huge warrior's heart he had to just take some of those, the elbows were just so vicious, marking his face, cutting him. How he stayed the 5 rounds, I don't know, but he did, which was just testament to his character. And then next, Thailand versus Italy. With a very young up-and-coming fighters now. Kun Lava from Thailand versus Mateus from Italy. Mateus only 17 years of old, but going to school in Thailand, living the Thai fighter's life, and he shocked a lot of people, me especially, with his performance. The first foreigner to actually win against a Thai fighter in the Thai versus Challenger series, and he did it fighting like a Thai, with a Thai style. Great technique, good kicks, good knees, controlled the clinch. A real stunning performance from this young fighter. Young Mateus from Italy, showing the crowd with this fight that, you know, what a real young prospect he is to watch. And I'll be shocked if we don't see him fighting and making a name for himself in the big stadium soon. And then the main fight of the night, the great Sayok Pumpamorn. He's been won awards for being like an ambassador for Muay Thai, taking the sport around the world, undefeated in about, I think, 20 fights abroad against foreign opponents, up against the young French rising star Antoine Sinkboxing, or Antoine Pinto. A lot of people kind of thought, what's Tully doing with this fight? Antoine's going to get destroyed, because Sayok, everything he throws is with venom, with power and with passion. But Antoine shocked the crowd. He went the distance. Although he never won, he proved the people wrong, and he proved Tully right, and that they could actually put on an entertaining fight. We got hit with some incredible shots throughout the fight, but still kept coming back and still went the distance. So great performance from the young French fighter Antoine. And now, Thailand versus Challenger 3. The first time the Thais have been taken away from their comfort zone, away from the home crowds and onto foreign soil. And where better to have the first fights than in Germany? So with the first show in Germany, this isn't just about Muay Thai anymore. It's not just a sport. It's the first time the Thais are going abroad, and it's all about national pride too. That's why we've got to take the best weapons to show the world what we've got. First weapon, non-side Saw Sanyakon, put on a stunning performance against the hard-punching Alex Vogel. Alex came into the fight looking to take the fight to non-side, try and mash him up with hard punches, but non-side had an answer to everything he threw at him. He tattooed his side with hard body kicks, threw him around in the clinch like a rag doll, and just showed the crowd what Muay Thai from Thailand is really all about. The next Thai weapon, what a fighter, Kalkai Ganorasinghe. Already showed in the first event what supreme skills he's got. And in this show, he came in to really put on a show again against Marco from Germany. Was just starting to really entertain the crowd with some unorthodox spinning techniques, jumping elbows, when unfortunately Marco slipped. He hurt his knee, it was an accident. Marco came to fight, he came to put on display, but just unfortunately that's how life is sometimes.
Yeah.
really hope that we can get this fight on again to give Marco his chance to actually show the crowd what he can do. 2011 Thailand versus Challenger, this fight's going to happen again. So after defending national pride in Germany, we all went back as winners to get ready for the final instalment, Thailand versus Middle East. So here we go, the final fight card of the year, Thailand versus Middle East in Dubai. So what a great opening fight. Samranchai 96 Penang, one of the real true ambassadors of the Muay Thai sport, fought all around the world. Great all-round technique. Former Thailand champion, former Lumpini title challenger against a young tough Iranian, Mustafa. Great fight, both fighters giving their all for 5 rounds. Mustafa maybe just played the wrong game. Tried to fight the tight his own game in the clinch. Whereas if he'd have kept it outside, it might have been a different story if he could have got his hands going, got his low kicks working. But unfortunately, Samranchai just a little bit too good all round, taking the fight on points. So our next fight, the star of the Queen's birthday show, Ole Lek, fights originally supposed to fight a young, tough Iranian challenger, but unfortunately the Iranian opponent got injured before and had to pull out. So they drafted in a last-minute replacement, a very experienced Thai fighter, Yodvitsanu Sokitichai. Been around a long time, former Thailand champion, but just a little bit outgunned by the size of Ole Lek. Too tall, too strong in a clinch. And Yodvitsanu gave it his all, but he was just a little bit too small, and Ole Lek took the fight on points. So although it was unfortunate that we couldn't have a Thailand versus foreign challenge for this fight, it also worked out in a different way. It gave the crowd a chance to see 2 very skilled Thai fighters fighting the art as they would normally in the stadiums in Thailand, in Lumpini or Ratchaman. So it got to see the art as in its purest form. Next up, another very experienced Thai fighter, Jamao Pumpammuang, up against Amit Sadi of Tunisia. Amit's another fighter that's kind of based himself in Thailand. He's got a lot of experience, fought in the main stadiums, and he pulled off a shocking win, round 3, with a stunning punch that had Jamao out cold on the canvas, giving the local crowd as well something to enjoy. Final fight of the night, bringing back the young French pretty boy Antoine Singh boxing, or Antoine Pinto, back to show the Dubai crowd that he'd come back from the loss to Sayok in the Queen's birthday, up against a tough fight, a tough challenger, the real character, Zidov Akuma, the former star of Contender Asia. This fight, Antoine just showed what a future prospect he is. He just outclassed Zidov with some great technique, great skills. Zidov came to fight, but just didn't have enough weapons in the arsenal to really give Antoine any trouble. That brings 2010 Thailand versus Challenger to a close. It's been a great year for me. I've enjoyed being a part of the Thailand versus Challenger concept, seeing it grow, seeing some great fights and some great fighters. And hopefully with a lot more support, 2011 we're really going to show you what Thailand versus Challenger can do. I'm Rob Cox, and you're going to be hearing a lot more from me soon.